Hey y'all, so welcome back. I'm here again for another episode of Insecure, and damn, we're gonna jump right in. The recap is hella simple. We are indeed getting Molly's perspective on post-friendship breakup, and we see her at the restaurant. She actually did see Issa get out the car and start to head that way, and then next, her and Andrew go on a vacation. Super brief synopsis, that's basically the gist of the whole episode. The vacation was the majority of the episode, and let's dive right in. So I called it on the last episode, y'all. I knew I didn't really want to see Molly's perspective because I wasn't sure if she'd be able to come back, and honestly, I'm still not. Like, the main number one thing that was part of this episode is that Molly is really a fucking hater. Like, the biggest comparison of the two episodes is how much more Molly takes digs at Issa than Issa does her entire episode. She just came off of a really big high. She was hurt, she was in her feelings, but we start off this episode with Molly coming to Andrew like, yep, I seen sis and she ran away from me like I was an actual job. Damn girl, is that even your friend? And then a little bit later in the episode, Nathan has to call Andrew because he can't get it out of the garage, and we hear Issa in the background going through things, and again, Molly takes another jab at Issa and revisiting her stuff with Nathan, which Andrew shuts down a little bit and says, you know, hey, he was going through some mental illness type stuff. Like, I'm not sure if Issa knows, but that's their business. Key phrase, their business, which Molly don't know nothing about. But anyways, someone on Twitter had pointed out that maybe Issa would have got the chance to find that out had Molly not sent Nathan away last season. But again, here Molly is like, it was Issa's fault, this is the issue, still feel bad, all this kind of stuff. She's literally being a hater the entire time, and it was really driving me crazy. Like, you could have just stayed quiet. Like, you don't have to say all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know how they come back from this. I truly think that they do. Like, I mean, we're getting a whole other season of this show, and best friends have bad fights, but it's gonna take a little bit to come back from that. The second thing that really had me, like, annoyed with Molly in this episode is how whack she was. Like, they go on vacation, they start to unpack their things, and she pulls out her little nightie, which, sis, have we not been doing this already? Like, I mean, we're not in y'all's whole life. We don't get to see, you know, what happens in the sheets, but baby girl, that's what you should be doing anyway. Y'all are so new, fresh together. He should be getting the fit. Andrew, on the other hand, which if I could Andrew for a second, because baby, if I could, I would, because he is. And he brought out all the things to make the trip extra special and was really ready to get that thing singing. And I just don't know, like, I don't know. I know Molly can be a stick in the mud and like whatever, but a lot of times those forward presenting, not forward girls be the ones most with it. And Molly says, I need you to get with it because you're missing out. And that was whack. And I hated to have to see that, but I do feel like that was the most genuine and honest of who Molly would have been and who Molly is. So whatever. But like I said, I didn't want this episode because I knew I wasn't going to be feeling her because she is just the most. And also the least at the same damn time. Outside of those two moments, the only other major thing that happened was we get introduced to Andrew's brother Victor and his wife Lydia, who are soups cute. Lydia is all into Molly and how beautiful she is, and she does go a little overboard about like saying it a trillion cajillion times, but I mean, she poppin', so I get it. And then there's a scene where Molly's unable to get a towel because she doesn't have a room key. Victor pulls up with the room key, gets the towel, and then we go back to the pool with Victor, Lydia, Andrew, Molly, and they reassess the situation. So Molly's upset. Andrew's like, babe, what's going on? Molly, of course, it's a typical bullshit. And okay, So many feels about this scene. I'm going to try to be as clear as possible and make sure I'm not, leaving any room for anyone to make any interpretations, and I'm very clear about how I feel about this. So first things first, Victor approaches her with, hey, just being devil's advocate, do you think it was really about race? Number one, devil's advocate people, shut the fuck up. Why does the devil need an advocate? And why do you want to be the devil's advocate? Those situations never end well. Nothing positive ever comes out of them. And really just why? So that for me in the beginning just kind of shook it the wrong way. I get that he was seemingly wanting to have a civil conversation and want to understand maybe where she was coming from, but that's the wrong way to do it. Devil's advocate, if any of y'all are on the devil's advocate shit, like, please miss me with it, and I never want to, like, have a conversation with you, because you starting it like that means you're not really coming at it trying to understand or understand my perspective. Two, this was the wrong place. Y'all just met Molly. You don't know her from anybody else. I get that you're trying to go ahead and give her the 100% you're welcome into the family vibe, but who the hell wants to be welcome into a family that questions when she feels like she is being racially profiled or treating different or being treated different, and facing an injustice? Why was that your place to call it out? I do want to give Lydia her props, because she was like, baby, this isn't for you. This isn't the hill. Like, let's not do this right now. And Victor was a little bit in the wrong. I do also want to point out that Victor himself says he saw the lady not ask the white couple in front of her for their key card and then ask for the key card for Molly. So I feel like he kind of made a bed that was a little bit spicy. And if he, recognize all those things, why are we here? Why are we having these conversations? What's your point? On the other side, I do want to say, Molly tees up a lot, really often, and she does come out of line. And then B, we are in this space where stuff is very salacious, very spicy. Every click is just on that bite. And a lot of times people are not taking the time and putting the effort in to really make sure they're clear with their messaging. And I'll be honest, a lot of times I see stuff on my social media accounts where people will say, oh, hey, this was racist, that was racist. And once you get to the nitty gritty of actually what's happening, it's not actually racism. And it is a weird place to be where, we want to make sure that we're being vocal and we're combating this and, not standing for it and not just being peaceful, because I hear you. What the fuck has peaceful gotten us in a couple places? But I do feel like there is a space where we need to be correct and we need to be understanding of a full situation and everything that's happening, definitely before we go and push a narrative. So I can see where maybe he was trying to understand, but I do feel like he was approaching it poorly. Where Molly, I feel like, really went wrong was, instead of trying to explain to him, she really went on the defensive and then she started taking jabs. So I hear you. There are certain people who only want to use the minority card when the minority card benefits them. I have experienced it, been privy to it, and I totally understand where she's coming from. However, it's a really tricky situation when you're now saying you, we, they, us, y'all, and then you're offending Andrew, and when he says something, she says, oh, well, you're different. That's the same thing as when you're saying these same people who are being oppressive to you call you the exception to the rule. So it's tricky. It's tough. There does have to be this space of you being understanding and genuine respect and kind of watching your words even when you're getting heated. I am definitely one of those people who I do not speak about race, politics, or religion with almost anyone. Definitely anyone outside of my absolute inner circle who I have understanding or willing to have a conversation. But you have to be on a different understanding with people, and you have to be able to take a deep breath and balance yourself, I think, to actually have a conversation. Now, am I saying she was wrong for getting mad? Hell no. I don't know her experience. I don't know what she's been through. And honestly, if being angry and upset is how you feel that shit, sis. Like, I'm tired of Black women always getting this angry woman narrative when we're just being passionate. So I totally get it. I'm not downing that. And I think this is the most real depiction of this situation, because even me trying to recall it and say exactly, how I feel about it and what I would do, it's difficult. It's not always as black and white as everybody wants to make it seem. It's very gray, and it's very hard to maneuver and hard to tell anyone how they should have felt or should have reacted and that sort of thing. However, I do think she should have dialed it back a little bit. It went straight to anger. It was fuck you, Andrew, get your brother. But she wasn't seeing his side of the situation when she began to throw the jabs of, you guys only, play the minority card when it benefits you. She doesn't know them. And I think that was her real misfooting in that. She doesn't know them. You're here as Andrew's girlfriend. Obviously, he doesn't feel any kind of way. He's had your back through all of your stuff, everything kind of like going on. He's definitely, in the culture, which I'm sure is what she meant by you're different, but you don't know their minority struggle. Just like I said at the beginning, I don't know her, so I can't pass a judgment on them. So when she went on the attack, I get why they felt some kind of way. I mean, even Lydia changed her tune, sis, and was like, no. So it was definitely a two wrongs don't make a right type situation. However, when you start a conversation with being devil's advocate, please understand you probably about to have this whole thing fucked up, because usually people decide to be the devil's advocate on things that people don't play with and things that people take very serious, and you could have just shut the fuck up. I mean, it could really be that simple. And so, I don't know. If you're a devil's advocate person, definitely check yourself. The absolute best part of this whole episode was at the end. We get Molly calling her therapist. Well, close to the end, because at the end, we get Jay Ellis' fine ass comes back and just looking. And that's all the story now, all weird. But Molly calls her therapist. She knows it's time for her to set up an appointment because she's wilding on all fronts. She just needs to touch back base and get back to the foundation because stuff's getting a little far out of hand. And I'm excited to see what happens with the setting of the foundation. Molly, I don't want to dislike you, girl, but you tripping. And that's the episode. That's my take. Definitely a short one this week because there wasn't a lot that happened, just those major issues. I am going to end this with a little debate that one of my besties and I had, and I'm going to bring it to y'all, and I'm just going to share my truth. And I want to know what y'all think in the comments. So one of my besties is 1000% Team Nathan. She just thinks he is extra, extra fine, and I had to let her know, Nathan's cute. He fine. He is not finer than Asian Bae. He's not finer than Andrew, y'all. I'm just not even going to be here for it. I don't believe it. I'm willing to listen to you guys debate me on this and just prove your facts. And listen, please send all the thirst traps to my DMs. I'm here for it. I want to see. But Asian Bae just does it for me. And I think he's finer than Nathan. So if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know also. Don't let that be the decision of whether you give this video the thumbs up or the thumbs down though. Hit it with a thumbs up. I also want to know what you guys thought about Molly coming for Victor, how y'all felt about that devil's advocate situation. Did you feel like he was really coming from a genuine place and trying to ask a question, or do you think he was just trying to start some shit anyway, off real? So I want to hear what you thought. Very excited for the next few episodes. Issa said these are her favorite 3, so I think it's gonna be good. She also said the music is fire, which every season we get the best Spotify Insecure playlist, so I'm just ready for more bomb-ass music. I'm ready to see what happens with the friends, and I need to know who Lawrence was calling on that phone. I think it's Condola. I'm gonna put my vote in for Condola, and y'all let me know who you think it is. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share this shit. Make sure you comment and answer my questions below, and follow me on Instagram @TiffSaysGo. And I will see y'all next week.